The stylist tells POPL what made it really hard to go to work for 60 hours a week and pretend to be nice to London while filming the TLC show from 2003 to 13. Clinton Kelly shocked What Not to Wear fans when he wrote in his 2017 memoir that he and co-host Stacy London loved each other and despised each other, and stated that she blocked him on X. But they reconciled in 2023 and teamed up again for a new Prime Video series, Wear Whatever the F You Want. I realized that the only person who could ever do this show with me is Stacy London. Kelly, 56, tells POPL in a joint interview with London, 55. Years ago, I was doing publicity for another show, and a producer said to me, "I wish you'd bring back What Not to Wear." And I said, "It's not my show to bring back. And I have changed so much, and the world has changed so much that any style show I would do right now would have to be called Wear Whatever the F You Want." Then I thought, that's a really good idea for a show. So I wrote it up, and I called Stacy and I was like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" London thought that was a really genius idea and agreed to reteam with him 12 years after What Not to Wear ended. The TV personality admits she hadn't even spoke to Kelly in at the point when headlines about their supposed feud made the rounds following his book I Have Everyone, except Pugh's release. "I was just like, ouch, because I only saw the clickbait," London says. Ultimately, London says she and Kelly just needed to communicate with each other. "The fact that we didn't before that and the book came out was sort of alarming," she continues. "But once you've realized things are taken out of context, once you realize that you can't read somebody's mind, it does make a difference. The fact is, we have been working too long in the trenches together to let our friendship not revive itself." Kelly explains that his line in the book did not mean he and London hated each other. "I challenge anybody to sit next to their best friend in the whole world for 10 years, 16 hours a day without vacations, without taking weekends off, and not get into a fight," he says. "At a certain point it was like, I just want to be alone. It had nothing to do with Stacy. It could have been anybody. It could have been my grandmother sitting there. I just needed to be alone for a second." The Chu Alam confesses there was a time when he and London got a little snippy with each other, but that happens. He likens working with London for 10 years on What Not to Wear to going on a car trip with a sibling. You want to kill them at some point, and then the next 5 minutes later, you're playing a game, Kelly says. "That's kind of what our relationship was like. In the book I said, Stacy and I had a love-hate relationship for a little while. It wasn't the whole time, but some sites took that as Clinton Kelly hates Stacy London. I was like, I never said that." Kelly also reveals that there are some behind-the-scenes elements factored into the occasional tension between him and London. "There were so many people behind the scenes, and sometimes when a showrunner does not have a really good attitude, and it's obvious that a showrunner hates the two of us, it's really hard to go to work for 60 hours a week and pretend to be nice," the Daytime Emmy winner says. "There's a trickle-down thing. Not all of our showrunners were like that, but there were a couple who really did not like us." Kelly points to season 6 as a particularly challenging one for him and London. "I actually feel bad for anybody who was on the show season 6, because I don't think I gave them the best version of me," he says. London adds, "We talk about season 6 like it's 666. Ultimately, there were forces beyond our control that were pitting us against each other," Kelly says. The duo's time apart ended up working in their favor when it came to reuniting for Wear Whatever the F You Want, which sees Kelly and London working collaboratively with their new subjects to give them a makeover from the client's perspective. "We needed to go off and do other things and establish ourselves as individuals, because we'd always been known as Clinton and Stacy," London says. "We didn't really have separate identities." Kelly likens his and London's relationship to an arranged marriage. "It was stinted for 10 years, so I think it was important, not only to find out that we had such similar fashion philosophies and how they evolved, but that we just grown as people in a very similar way," London says. On Wear Whatever the F You Want, there was a lot of more communication, Kelly says. London concurs. "There was no, I need to take 5. If anything, it was like me running into Clinton's dressing room being like, 'Can we just talk about this?' Wear whatever the F you want reflects not only the evolution of style and the way people approach fashion, but growth in Kelly and London's relationship. Working with Stacy, we laugh all the time, Kelly says. Sometimes it's on camera, sometimes it's off. When we get together to create looks, it's so much fun. It's really a joy to be like, let's try this sweater with this skirt. What about this shoe? Oh my God, you know what would really make this pop? This necklace. We get each other.